Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Dragonheir SilentGods video. In today's video, I want to talk a little bit about the Grave of Wrath because, well, it's one of the dungeons that we have to farm for sure in Dragonheir SilentGods, even though from my point of view, it's one of the later ones that you want to farm, and at least when it comes to the end game, you know, in the last maybe 2 months, which for me is going to start in a couple of days, that's kind of more when I believe you should start farming that, because the Holy Hunter set, which basically you would hear lots of us calling it a stun set, the value of this one grows like further along. Early on, it's not that important. You want damage, you want supporting stats and whatnot. So this one isn't the best. However, it's really good for Arena. It's really good for pushing Famiander, for pushing the Pillar of Trials, you know, all the other areas when you need a little bit of control. And then when it comes to the Mona Lisa's Blessing set, well, from my point of view, again, this is my point of view, I might be wrong. I feel like this is one of the worst sets this season because it just does not make sense, the skills that they have together. So basically it gives you 40 accuracy, 20 skill haste. Then after casting an ultimate skill, the wearer heals the ally with the lowest HP percentage by 15%. So I guess you can use this set on anybody, but most of the time I would use, for example, on a healer. So I feel like what they did is they kind of swapped around the effects of the sets. From my point of view, this one should have been on the Cyril Whisper set, okay? Let me show you exactly the one that I mean, because I do have it on one of my champions. Let me see, where do I have it? Okay, this one. So this is the one that says, you know, when the wearer successfully inflicts a debuff, all allies gain attack. So this one is on an HP with skill haste set. This doesn't make sense. This should have been the accuracy with skill haste, and then the effect of that one that heals an ally should have been on this one. But that's just my 2 cents for starters. However, what I want to show you today is the team that I'm currently using. That's honestly, it's still a work in progress. Okay, it's still a work in progress. It's not perfect. It's not 100%. However, I want to show you the team, and then I want to start talking a little bit about it and basically explain the principles of the boss, what you should try to get in this team, what you should try to look forward and whatnot, because kind of like the same way that the other bosses have changed, the other dungeons have changed in Season 2, the Grave of Wrath has changed as well, in a sense of like, I think the only, unless I'm missing something, the only thing that was added was this one, the Source of Filth. Deals damage to the enemy while reducing their max HP equal to 6% of this damage. When dealing damage, this damage increases by 10% for every debuff on the target is inflicted with. When taking damage, there is a 100% chance of inflicting 1 stack of poison on the attacker. So I think this is the only thing that has been added, unless I'm missing something. If I'm missing something, leave it in the comments below. But the first AoE is the same. It just puts lots of poisons and deals damage and lands healing prohibition, which means we cannot heal at all. So it's not a healing reduction, just straight up prohibition. You cannot heal if you have this one on for, I think both that and the poisons are for 30 seconds, and that's gonna hurt. If you don't remove that, you're basically gonna die. Then the next one, again, does centers at the current target, which usually means it's gonna try and hit whatever can hit the most. And again, deals damage and lands recharge speed penalty. This damage is shared between all enemies within range. I have no idea what this means. Honestly, I have no idea. I've not seen it. If somebody can figure out or understands what that means, again, leave it in the comments below, because, well, I don't get what it means. Maybe the fact that it hits everybody in that range. Like, it doesn't show us the range here, but it shows if you go out. So that's the second skill. Then the third skill, devours the current target and choose them for 4 seconds, dealing poison damage each second, restoring HP equal to 600% of the damage dealt. So basically, if we just straight up think about the kit that the boss has, what does it tell us? Like, what are the important things that we need? Well, first of all, he puts poisons, healing prohibition, and recharge speed penalty. So what that means is that you're either gonna need a debuff immunity hero to go before that happens, or you need somebody that cleanses those, okay? And if everything goes well, you'd prefer to have debuff immunity. As long as it lasts to cover both of those, that's going to be better, because if you bring a cleanser, there's not too many that actually cleanse everything. Like, for example, if you want to use the V-Cook, you're going to be able to cleanse the first 2, but then if the recharge speed penalty lands, you're not going to have that cleanse again. Then another one that does it, I think, is Nathaniel, but he does it on the battle skill. There's very few heroes in the game that can do like full team, full board cleanse. One of them is in my team right now, the Rare Fits, okay? he doesn't do a cleanse per se, but basically he removes all debuffs from all allies and moves them on to himself. So that's what you need, first of all. And then after that, you see that I'm using Mistreja. Honestly, she's not the best at this one. Like, I wish I had the Catherine that I would have had built, or an Asiliad, because those one would be better. The reason why Mistreja is not the best is because she's dependent on having high skill haste, dependent on also having the artifact that reduces her ultimate energy, or you might need the hourglass. And I chose to go a little bit of a different way with her because of the way that I'm using Rose. But again, if you had a Catherine, if you had an Asilia, that would be easier because you only need to get to an 18-second recharge time. Mistreja's ultimate that does the debuff immunity is only 24 seconds, which makes it really difficult. Then when it comes to the last skill that the boss does, well, he does bring, like I said, he devours somebody and basically keeps healing based on the damage that he deals. So the important thing that you need for that one, and that's why you see my Sigrid in here again, two rares that are basically the MVPs of the fight. Sigrid brings the heal prohibition, is it called, what's it called again? I keep confusing it. The heal, heal prohibition. So because she lands that, whenever the boss devours my Gyarados, as you can see, he's not healing. The healing numbers that you see are from Gyarados actually healing. So that's another one that's really important. I don't have a full 5-man synergy team in here because of the way that things are going, but you can see that this team is working just well, and basically those are the core things that, you, like I said, you need to know. Cleansing, debuff immunity, or both if you can have, if you can work in your team. Then heal prohibition, heal reduction, which is what I'm using before the boss does the ultimate. But then after that, if you can have people that do attack penalty that kind of like alternate it, like for example, I'm using Sigrid to land that heal prohibition just before the boss does the ultimate, but I'm not covered for all of the rotation because her decrease attack is only on for 10 seconds, okay? So because of that, I would need somebody who lands the attack penalty before the first ones, and that's where I timed my Rose to land the attack penalty over here, just before the first AoE, and hopefully it should last for the second AoE as well. Okay, it seems my Fitz has died, so again, this team is not perfect, but basically the way that you would want it, again, see attack penalty over here, the boss does not do as much damage, we have debuff immunity from Mistreja, it's not perfect, doesn't stay on all the time, but as long as you would do that and you would time it with the skills, it should work just fine. So let me just back out and let me show you exactly what I mean, because the whole rotation of the boss is, 6, 12, 18. Okay, so you basically have an 18-second rotation. Well, what that means is, as an example, I have my Sigrid go at 17.5. Basically, just before the boss does his ultimate, I land the attack penalty and the healing prohibition with her from her ultimate. She can land it from the battle skill as well, but we care about the ultimate. Then after that, I make her do that again every 21 seconds. The reason why I'm not doing it every 18 seconds, which is the rotation of the boss, is because Rose has a recharge speed penalty on her battle skill. So if you're using somebody like a Rose, or like, doesn't matter who you're using in Rose's spot, but if you bring somebody in the fight that brings recharge speed penalty, depending on the duration that one is on the boss, you might have to go up or down with the full skill interval. That's really important. However, if you don't have anybody that either decreases the ultimate energy, like maybe lots of people might use Adri, or they bring a recharge speed penalty, then you're going to want to have this one at 18 seconds, okay? But what that means is you want to make sure that this skill goes down to the 18 seconds. So that's really important to keep in mind, okay? Like if I look, you see 20, 19.1, 21.7. So again, I would not have it. It would not be perfect. He's the only one that's 17.9 because I have the staff on him. Let me see, Fitz as well, 19.1. Again, I do not have all of that, but for Fitz it doesn't show correctly because I do have the Rift Hourglass on him. So do keep in mind that, the builds you're going to see, I'm going to have legendary artifacts. Again, this is not a build my team like this with all the legendary artifacts. No, I'm showing you the team, I'm explaining the mechanics, and I'm trying to give you solutions of what you can change. So, as an example, I do have Gyarados in here in the Gatekeeper staff that basically converts his healing into a max HP heal. Let's say you did not have that staff. You don't have to use Gyarados, you just have to level up Fitz higher, get him to 90 to 100, so he can do his job just fine, the cleansing and whatnot. Like, as an example, I could go and time Fitz so that after he does it first, he would do the cleanse every 21 seconds. Again, falling into rotation, always cleansing just in case the debuff immunity person falls behind or whatnot. So yeah, that's what I could do. But again, in Garrus' spot, you don't really need him. You can bring somebody else that brings you a shield. Like if you have an Adolphus, go for Adolphus. The reason why I'm suggesting that is because, well, the boss is passive, the new thing that it has, okay? So every time he deals damage, he reduces the max HP by 6% of the damage dealt. This one works the same way, unless I'm mistaken. I think this one works the same way as the Grave of Curse works, and basically it only reduces your max HP based on the damage it does to your actual HP. So if you have shields in there, then this is gonna have a lesser effect. So again, another good reason why shields become better, and I'm really happy about that because, you know, otherwise shields might not be the best things in the game, but with the dungeons and with the way that they work in Temporal Vortex, the shields get bigger and bigger value, and I'm happy about that. You know, it's something different. Now, when it comes to Rose in this team, as an example, again, you don't need her, you don't need the Witch's Remains, but if you don't have the Witch's Remains, the damage might be a bit lower, obviously, so you might have to have a different team. However, there's tons of options. Like the Rose can be somebody else that brings attack penalty or some damage before the first AoEs. I kind of like to always have attack penalty on the boss for the whole duration, because otherwise, people are squishy and they could just die. And if you don't have a Reviver, like I have Mitrajan here, it can be difficult. So yeah, Rose can be anybody else that brings attack penalty. Maybe if you have somebody that brings attack penalty and a consistent ultimate energy control, you might have to time it again and work with it. If not, make sure that all the ultimates get to 18 seconds. The sweet spot to get a 20 to an 18 seconds, I think it's somewhere around 55 to 60 skill haste, okay? Then Mithrasia, again, Mithrasia can be somebody else, doesn't have to be specifically her. She can be a Catherine, she can be a, I cannot think, like, you know, any other people that bring you debuff immunity in there. Or if you have a cleanse like from Fitz, you might be able to work around with it. But there's always way to find teams that you might play with. So, for example, if you click over here, lineup recommendation, you always find some other teams. If you click show non-legendary lineups, we don't see that many. It's tough, okay? It's stage 9, it's tough. We have not far too much legendary gear. It's not the best one. We're low on the runes, at least myself, so that's why it's hard to see. But if you just want to try and copy this team over here, well, as a simple example, you don't need Sheena. Okay, Sheena just brings damage in this team, unless... yeah, something else, yeah, no. So Sheena just brings damage to the team. So you could go and click on this button. It's gonna download it. You can see the way that that person has the run. You can click and see the builds that you can see. Again, this person has no legendary artifact, okay? Just legendary gear, and then Sheena, somebody that can be replaced. Beldel, same thing, can be replaced. Just 2 damage dealers. So again, I showed the team that I had, that I used, and because I don't have a V-Cook, like for example, I have everybody else apart from V-Cook. I could go and build a V-Cook, and maybe I could do this team, and maybe that might be faster because Gerthen and Sheena can actually bring a ton of damage. So if you see that you're stuck and you see that you don't have the heroes that I suggested or that I showed, always come and look over here what they have, or even go to lower stages, look at what the people have, because the timings of the skills and whatnot are going to be the same. You might just need a little bit more survivability. Like you see, if you go on 8, there's going to be lots of other teams without any... There's the Adolphus I was talking about. Let me see. Garius with no staff. So see, this is kind of like close to the team that I was suggesting. It can be done. It can be done. Just need to find the right timing to make it work. But yeah, I guess we're going to leave it at this for today, guys. The next one that I will have to make a video on, but I'm not going to make a video up until I get to stage 9, because Ancient Battlefield is the next one that I will tackle, and it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while because people are too squishy, okay? Or I might just have to drop my full-on DPS, Gerthen and Sheena. I might just have to bring something else. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this gave you an idea, again, of what you could use or what heroes are going to be good for the Grave of Wrath. Hopefully, I'm going to get the test server in the next few days, and I'm going to be able to test out some more no legendary heroes, no legendary artifact teams to show you guys for all the dungeons and whatnot, because I just don't have the resources to build as many people as I would like on my main account, and that's why, you know, we were hoping for a server, test server. Hopefully, it's going to come out soon. But anyway, this is going to be it for today, guys. Thank you all for watching. As always, if you do enjoy my content, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel to see when I upload next, and I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care, everyone. Bye, guys.